podcast people. My name is Julia Mason. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time watching, I live in Oregon in the United States, and we have sheep, and I love to knit. So I have a lot of like life stuff to share today, not like anything crazy. Don't worry, everything's fine. I just have, you know, lots of, it's busy, it's summertime, so there's lots of us stuff in this episode. So if you're more interested in learning about me as a knitter, I mean, I do have a lot of knitting as well. Maybe try watching an earlier episode, but you're welcome to stay. So also, this is an opportunity for you guys to learn a little bit about me. You may not know that this cat exists. This is Cricket. She is a super lovey, obnoxious kitty, and I feel bad for loving Wash so much because he's like the aloof classic cat, and he like plays hard to get and stuff, but what can I say? I guess it's emotional baggage. I don't know why. I don't know why I like him so much more than her. I think she is unpredictable, so she'll be like loving on you and so sweet, and then she'll just like scratch your face. She's also like really clingy, and I don't like clingy. I think that's why I like cats better than dogs. And she sheds a ton, and she like kneads you with her little claws, and but look at that little face. It's so cute. And that was risky because I might have just got clawed in the face. But anyways, so Wash has not been coming out to this little house because of her, and they hate each other. So she's out here, and she's who you get this week. So anyways, that was an obscene amount of time for talking about cats, but what can I say? That's who I am. Oh, the elephant in the room, I am wearing my Ramona cardigan. I am extremely pleased with it. The only thing that I don't love is the yarn, which is like the story of my life, I guess, because that's, I mean, I tend to buy online, so I don't always get to feel what it's going to be like beforehand. And I just, you know, like my last sweater, it was just lack of experience. But anyways, it actually is quite nice as far as like, it's a very sturdy, dense fabric, and I think it will make a really nice like top layer for the winter time. It's very warm. The house itself is rather cool right now, so I'm okay, but like it's hot outside, so I'm gonna have to take this off as soon as this is over. So anyways, it's kind of hard to see in here, and then my camera is casting a shadow, but let me move the kitty and then I can show you a little better. Try not to move the camera too much. It is really fitted, whereas the pattern did not call for that, I guess, is, I don't know. Anyways, I just made a mistake and did way too many decreases because I wasn't reading the pattern. I was just knitting like in the car and while visiting with family. So I just assumed that I had it in my head as the correct number, and I ended up doing a ton more decreases, and I was wrong. But I actually really like the way that it turned out. It's very fitted and comfortable, and I got buttons for it finally, and yeah, I've been wearing it quite a lot. It's very fuzzy. That's the thing you might not be able to tell from far away, but like, ooh, it's just very fuzzy. So yeah, that's okay. It's not shedding as bad as I expected it to. I actually still haven't washed or blocked it. I probably should do that. And it's not really pilling that bad. I mean, there's a few pills on the underside of my arms, but considering that I've literally like worked in the garden hoeing weeds in this thing, which is not the like nicest thing to do to your sweaters, but it's so wearable. Anyways, it's not too bad. Like, it's not even quite as pilly as my last sweater. So anyways, and this is just my Raina shawl. I'm just wearing it differently to show off my sweater. So yeah, so that's my only finished object this week. I've had a lot of just stuff happening. I feel like I should do an episode every week right now just because of our life stuff, not even knitting, because I haven't had a whole ton of time to knit. I will insert a video probably at the end of our garden. I took a little quick walk around just to show you guys what I've been up to, and so if you're interested in that, you can jump to the end, or you can wait, you know, like watch the whole podcast. So anyways, yeah, I went to Central Oregon with my husband's family, his mom and dad and sister, and they took Felicity with them the like 2 nights before, and then I met them over there with Daisy. That allowed me to like get some house cleaning and stuff caught up, which was really nice. It's so hard to do with a little like 3-year-old chasing you around. I mean, she's super fun, but then she's just like making a mess behind me the whole time. So, and I'm not a house cleaning type person. So anyways, yeah, so I was feeling super nervous. I don't know if I got to talk about it last time because I had to kind of cut my episode short. But like I was feeling really nervous about leaving because Wash was running out of the house, and that's just, it sounds silly, I know, he's a cat, but he kept running out of the house and acting like he was gonna run away, and he isn't neutered yet, and it was stressing me out to think about like being gone for almost a week and him getting away and like disappearing. So he stopped doing that, like, I don't know, maybe the day before I left, he just kind of stopped going outside and calmed down. And so I still need to get him neutered. I haven't gotten it done yet, I know, I'm sorry, but at least he's not stressing me out anymore, because he's just kind of like, well, whatever, and he's just like sleeps all day again. So I don't know what that was about, but and that's part of the reason I didn't bring him out here, is because I think walking him between the 2 houses makes him excited about going outside. So anyways, and then I was also stressed because this is the thing I definitely didn't get to talk about last time, and I had planned to share, was that our sheep were on a lease property for the summer, and everything was going fine except for, like, the sheep were zero work over there. It's just bringing them mineral and filling their water every other day. So really, really nice. Lease properties are great, but our livestock guardian dog, or livestock protection dog, was a Pyrenees, and he was out there with them. And I don't know if it's because he's alone and he's bored, but he is like determined to escape and patrol like large areas. So he kept jumping out of the fence and causing problems, and like with the property owner, he would like take her dog on these grand adventures, and last summer her dog was hit by a car, so she's really nervous about him leaving. And so yeah, it was just bad. He was just getting out constantly, and we put up an invisible fence, which is like an electric collar, where the perimeter of the sheep paddock was his boundary. He's not supposed to go beyond. And I don't know if the solar power wasn't working good enough or what the deal was, because he just still, like, he did really good for a week or 2, and then he started just escaping constantly again. And so that was really stressful. Like, I really hate interpersonal conflicts, and I hate, you know, like having to drop everything and drive over and deal with this dog constantly. It's really hard with the 2 little girls and like nap time schedules and things like that, to just be running over there and dealing with this animal. And so it was right before I was leaving to go on vacation with Nick's family, and it was really sad that he didn't get to go. And it was also sad because it was like Father's Day, and it just sucked for him because there was no one to take care of the farm. And there was, I mean, he has to work. He has a lot of work. It's his busy season. So anyways, I was feeling super stressed about that. So right before we, I mean, it was a few days before, but anyways, right before I recorded my last episode, actually, we brought the sheep home because we have just enough grass right now to support them for this season, but we're going to have to take them back out to the lease property eventually. But we're hoping we can get Borrego a little better trained, maybe try a different e-collar system that works better, is more consistent, and maybe just like do some training here at home and then try transferring him out there. Otherwise, I don't know what the solution is, because we don't have enough acreage to support the ewes and their lambs on grass in the summertime on our own property, and so we're pretty reliant on lease properties. But when we try to put them on lease properties without a protection dog, we get lambs eaten really rapidly by coyotes. So anyways, that was really stressing me out. We brought all the sheep home, so at least I felt better that that wasn't going to be a problem for Nicholas the whole time that I was gone. Having sheep, or the dog, get out and him having to deal with that while working. So that was good. They stayed on our neighbors for a bit, and we brought them home yesterday, and today we're going to do hoof trims, FOMACHA, which is checking the membranes, like the inner eyelid membranes, for, what is that called? Oh, good Lord. I mean, for parasitism, but there's a word for anemia. From barber poleworm, which they feed on their blood. So if they're anemic, it can be very serious. So anyways, that's the plan for this afternoon. And then Borrego, oh, this was awful. This just happened a few days ago. So we brought him all home, and Borrego has been on our property. And I think 3 days ago, he tried to jump a field fence. He usually jumps those little like flimsy electric netting fences, and they're short because they're for sheep, and sheep are not usually very big jumpers, and they're really flimsy, so if somebody gets tangled, they'll just fall down, but they get shocked if they really get tangled, and that's not good. But anyways, it doesn't usually happen. So he got used to doing that, and he tried to jump a field fence, which is like a wire mesh that's under tension, and he caught his back leg and ended up hanging upside down by his leg. Thankfully, he could reach the ground, so he was able to support himself with his front paws. But one of his back legs was stuck in the fence, and it was awful. I was home alone with the girls, and I had just taken Daisy to do a nap, and I stepped outside and heard this weird bark that I had never heard before, because they bark a lot, but it was just this pathetic little like woof woof woof, and I was like, what the heck is that? And I looked around and saw him, and just like panicked and was running all around trying to find wire cutters, but Nicholas had taken them all because he's a fencing contractor, so like he needs wire cutters. Anyways, it was so stressful, so I was like on the phone frantically calling Nicholas, running back and forth trying to find anything that could cut wire. And finally he was like, well, check in the drawer in the house for the Leatherman, and my Leatherman was there, and I got him cut out, and it was probably only a minute or two of me running around, but it felt like forever, and it was so stressful, and then the like adrenaline and feeling just awful about it and made me want to throw up, but I was fine. Anyways, and thank goodness he seems fine. He didn't have any damage from loss of circulation that I can tell so far. It's, 3 days later and he's walking on it again. So I think he hurts. I don't think he feels great, but it didn't appear to be broken or dislocated, or it doesn't seem to be getting necrotic or anything. So it seems like he's okay, but oh my gosh, he dodged a bullet. Like, that was a bad situation that he had gotten himself into. So that was scary and stressful. Otherwise I had a really fun trip. I took a lot of knitting with me, but I actually only worked on pretty much one project. I cast on a second project and then decided that it took a little bit too much brain power for me to work on it with people around. Also, I hadn't printed the pattern. I was looking at it on my phone, and it was one of those where every row is different for like the start, and I need to be able to cross off the rows so that I know I've done that. Otherwise, I'll be like, wait, did I just do 9 or 10? And anyways, so I cast it on, and I'll show it to you, but I did not do much else on that. Let's see here. And this is the Agatha Cardigan by Andy Satterland. I think that's how you pronounce it. I really should get better at that. Let's see, which side's the right side? I think this is the right side. I don't know if it's gonna blend into my wall. I like this green, I guess you can tell. Oh, my nails are so beautiful. Again, I'm sorry. I should probably take better care of my fingernails. So yeah, this is just the beginning of the lace panel. It has lace in the front and the back, and then I think it might have lace on the arms, but I think it's just ribbing. So I started that, and the Cascade 220 is a little like, not my favorite to knit with even already, but I think this is the first time I've used these needles also, and they kind of start out with like a weird texture, and then once I've knitted with them for a while, they smooth out. So maybe they'll smooth out and I'll like it better. I don't know. But I've already caked up all 4 skeins of that, and they are in this project bag by the Cotton Stash, and it is nice and big for a sweater. So I did that while I was there, and yeah, like I said, was like, nope, I can't think. And then what I really worked on more exclusively was the linen top. The gal who designed this pattern goes by Sam Sweaters on Instagram. She might be that on Ravelry as well. But this is just called the linen top. Ooh, it doesn't look like much right now because it's all wadded up. Maybe if I put it on. it kind of is supposed to drape like this. It's so dark in here. I don't know if this is a good idea. Don't know that that helped. So yeah, so that's the lace panel, and it's supposed to be just kind of like a baggy, flowy, drapey linen top. This is actually cotton. I kind of wish I had invested in the linen because, well, A, it would be cool to work with it and see what I thought, but also I don't know. I feel like maybe, and I feel like this is huge. I did a gauge swatch, but I don't know. I think maybe I should have gone down a 0.5 millimeter in size. I might have been a little bit happier with the size of it because it's really, really big. I was like, well, I want it to be really drapey and big, so I went with the bigger size. But I don't know, whatever. We'll see. Hopefully I like it. But yeah, the yarn is quite nice. It is Sirdar cotton 4-ply. It is a very, very, very strong yarn. It's interesting. I've never worked with cotton that's like quite as smooth and sturdy. So that's cool. And yeah, I'm not quite to the point where I'm joining the back and the front. And what I've started doing lately is for when I have to put yarn on a holder or on waist yarn, stitches on waist yarn, instead I've just taken these cheap, really, really cheap bamboo needles that I got on Amazon a long time ago, and I've used them. I've just like knitted a row with them and left them on there, and that works really well. Particularly because I had like the whole set, I think it was 18 different sizes, and it was I think $12, so that's insanely cheap. So they work really well for that purpose. I kind of like, I had considered not keeping them, but then I was like, well, first of all, it's always good to have spare, but because I don't love knitting on them, but for holding stitches, or for if I, if the size that I want is busy or whatever, it's really nice to have them. So I've just taken to keeping a bunch of these in my notions bag so that if I need to hold stitches, I've got a variety of sizes. And that's working out great. And I found this cool thing in Bend. We were in Eagle Crest, I think. But I went to Bend to visit a local yarn store, and it's funny, I don't know that I've ever been to a local yarn store, which I feel kind of terrible about, but especially because, let me turn this off now. I used to live in Washougal, Washington, which is a really small, quite small town. Bigger than where I live now. But anyways, it had a local yarn store, and I just wasn't as into knitting then, even though I, did know how to knit at the time. Just wasn't what I was into at the time, and now I'm like, man, I really wish I had visited that local yarn store, because it was like right on the main drag where I drove by constantly, and yeah, I just feel like I missed out. But anyway, so I finally made it to a awesome local yarn store. I think it was called Fancy... Oh, crap. Man, I'm gonna have to look it up and put it on the screen, because it was Fancy something. But I made a couple purchases there. I used a great amount of restraint because I've already purchased a lot of yarn recently, and I don't need any more because I don't even have projects for everything, and I want to get through some things so that because I hate it when I get too much yarn and then the things that I was excited about knitting no longer seem exciting, and then I want to buy more yarn for something that I'm excited about. So I don't want to fall into that trap. I want to like buy yarn for projects so I can knit the things that I want to knit and not just be like using yarn that's ill-fitted for a project. So anyways, I used a lot of restraint, and I only purchased something for a giveaway, and I'd purchased this. This is a nifty little device. I think it's called a Norwegian knitting thimble, and maybe stranded knitting. Anyways, it's 4-stranded knitting, and it's for continental style. And how it works is, I don't know if I have any yarn handy that I could use to show. Oh, yeah, I do. There was a gal in the store randomly as a patron who had one in her bag, and she was telling the lady who owned the store about it. And it was funny because the lady didn't even realize that she had a bunch on her wall. And so I think it goes like this. I'll have to look it up again to make sure I've got it positioned correctly. But the little loops hold your yarn so that when you go to knit, they're just, yeah, held apart. Because when I was doing stranded knitting, this is the style that I do it in. I do continental. And then when I would pick up the colors, I would just kind of balance it over my knuckle. So one strand would be here, one strand would be here, and I would just be very carefully picking up yarn. But if with this, it holds them separate and they can't go anywhere and they can't tangle around each other or anything. I haven't done stranded in a while, and it'll be interesting to try that again. I kind of was looking at a few stranded knitting patterns. I would kind of like to do a yoked sweater, but I feel like I'm still in winter mindset. But then when it actually comes down to it, I don't actually feel like knitting on a sweater. It's like I want to knit sweaters because they're cool and I'm excited about them. But then when I want to sit down and actually knit, I don't really want to knit a sweater because it's hot out. So that's part of the reason I haven't really worked on that cardigan. So yeah, I've been working on my linen top. And then my next work in progress, oh, I haven't showed you the yarn for my giveaway. Let me do that real fast. So my big purchase there, well, there was this, and this thing's cool, and I'm excited to show you stuff I make with it eventually. The yarn that I bought is this beauty. This yarn is so gorgeous. It just like jumped out at me from the whole shop. I loved this one. I was like, I must buy it. I don't even know that like purple is the most popular color, but I was just couldn't help myself. I buy what I like, even though I'm giving it away. And this is by Farmer's Daughter Fibers. I don't know if you can see it. And they have a cool logo. It's pretty rad. So, yeah, this is their sock base, I think. Squish fingering, 100% merino. So it's not a sock base, it's 100% merino. Superwash, 438 yards, 100 grams. And the colorway is Rough Customer. And this is just freaking gorgeous. Like, I might have to buy myself some of this at some point because it's just so freaking pretty. And I really want to see what it would look like as something like this, like a shawl. A single skein shawl or something like that. I really like those lacy single skein shawls. I'm a big fan. But anyway, so this little gorgeous baby I am giving away, and it is past noon, which is when I said I would end the contest, so that is done, and I have a winner, you guys. I don't know how people normally do it, where like on Instagram, how you determine, oh, and I'm giving away this chocolate with it. I don't know how people normally figure out how they, I know the random number generator, but like how do you organize all the names and figure out who's actually entered? But what I just did was to enter the contest, and it was on Instagram because that's where I have the most followers and everything. I just had it so that you had to be a follower and you just had to tag one friend because I wanted to make it really simple and easy so people would enter. And yeah, I had a lot of responses and that was really fun, and I didn't have a ton of actual entries because a lot of people were really nice and they tagged a bunch of their friends instead of just one friend. So that was really cool. So I just wrote down the names of the people that tagged people, and I figured I would draw a name and then check if they were a follower, and if they weren't a follower then I would draw another name. But it worked out, and I drew a name, and it was my buddy Mad Fuzzy. I'm so excited. I was like, what are the odds? So she is in the States as well, and she also takes fiber to her local mill. So I think she gets East Frisian fiber from local farmers, and she takes it to the mill, and I think she dyes all of it herself too, which is crazy. So yeah, she's rad, and she has her own podcast, so if you want to check her out, she is Mad Fuzzy, M-A-D-D, and then the word fuzzy. So I'm super excited that she won. I did not expect someone that I like know or have talked to win, so that's exciting. And yeah, I'm really excited to give this to her. So she doesn't know that she won yet. I will let her know on Instagram, and I need your address if you're watching this, but I'll probably get a hold of you before I actually edit and upload this podcast. So anyways, yay, that's exciting. I'm so excited to do my first giveaway. And yeah, so I got a really good response on Instagram. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I'm kind of excited to do more of them in the future. So, but I should probably wait a little while. But yeah, that's really exciting for me. And my last work in progress, this is the most unorganized episode I think ever. I feel very out of sorts, but not in a bad way, just, I don't know, whatever. Okay, last work in progress. This one has been really super fun. I did some test knits for a bit in the last few months, and I don't know, I just did a lot of like monogamous knitting and like things, I don't know, I'd get it in my queue and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to knit this now and I'm going to really focus on it. Or if I did a knit along, well actually this is a prime example. I used this fiber in this next project, but these were, would have been a lot more fun if it wasn't for a knit along and I wasn't feeling like, oh, I need to get them done. But, yeah, so these are my sheep shuffle mitts if you're familiar. This fiber, I had a ton left over because as you can imagine, this was a rainbow mini skein set and then a full 50-gram ball of this gray. I can't remember if it was 50 or 100, but I think it was 50, excuse me. So I had a lot of fiber left over after this because this is really very small and light. So it's just kind of been sitting in my stash, and I decided quite a while ago that I really wanted to make Felicity a shawl, and I have, oh, I didn't bring it out. I have been making her an Estonian shawl out of this really beautiful pink yarn by Terry Dow, and keep it in this really cute project bag by Bumpy Crafts, and I love that combo. It's just like the most joyous little project, and I don't know if that's part of the reason I haven't finished it is because it's just the sweetest thing. Mostly it's because I have to work 100% off the chart, and it's really hard to find the time, like the alone time to focus on that. But anyways, so I wanted to make her, and that shawl is super beautiful, and after I started it, I was like, she's not going to be able to wear this very often because I don't want her to destroy it. I want her to like have it when she's older and enjoy it. So I decided to make her like a play shawl, and I thought that this rainbow yarn would be the perfect thing, and I have a ton of it left. So here is her little baby shawl so far. That's kind of upside down. And I'm mid-row. I don't know why I do that. Oh, it's because I was going to change colors. And I've been just spit felting every color change so that I don't have any tails except for one so far. And then I'll have one at the end. And that's fabulous. It shows a little bit. Like you can kind of see these funny, fuzzy, muddy areas because these are both, I think these are both superwash yarns, so they have a really hard time felting together. But it works good enough, and I don't have to weave in any ends. And I'm loving this project. And it looks really cute on camera. It's funny how when you see something in person and then when you see it from another person's perspective, you're like, oh wow, that looks cool. So I'm just making this up as I'm going. And my like design limitation is that I'm really running out of this gray. Like I'm almost to the end. I maybe have one or two more stripes. And I've been, like I started out doing these yarn over stripes, which are, they are fairly conservative in yardage usage. And then I did a yarn over stripe, which I don't love. I would love it a lot more, but I did it on an increase round and it made these awkward holes. So I think I would change that if I did it again. It doesn't look that bad, and it's really probably not going to be noticeable when it's worn, but you know, whatever, picky. And then I did more yarn over stripes. Then I did like a random little stripe for variation, and then one like stockinette stripe, which I quite like. And then I started doing smaller and smaller stripes because I'm running out. And as you get to the end of a shawl, you know, you're using a lot more yardage per stripe because it's so like such long rows. So maybe I'll just knit to the end of this row so that I can show you properly. But yeah, this has been like just such a mindless but interesting knit because there's so many, like basically it's mostly all garter stitch, so I'm not even having to, which I actually really like purling. I kind of think I would almost rather purl, so sometimes I wonder why when I do garter stitch I don't purl both directions. But anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, it's just like a garter stitch project basically, and then a couple of stripes of texture that takes like no time at all to do. So yeah, it's been really fun. I think I started it 4 or 5 days ago, and it is just so cute. Yeah, I think it was 5 days ago, because I think it was anyways, like Tuesday or something. So yeah, and it's kind of funny, it's not a pride shawl, like, it's just Pride Month. And I like rainbows. I mean, who doesn't like rainbows, right? So that's a random fuzzy. So yeah, Felicity likes it. I'm worried she's not gonna wear it because she's a little kid and that's what they do. But yeah, hopefully she does, because I think she'd look so cute, right? I don't know. Anyways, I think it looks nice. I think I will do as many more stripes as I can manage with the gray in between, and then if I run out of the gray, I might do a little experiment and see what it looks like to do the stripes without the gray. But I think going from contrasting stripes to like gradient stripes would look a little weird. I would really like to try, I might even have enough yarn left over. Even after knitting this shawl, I still have yarn. Like, I was specifically doing this as like a stash busting, like I'm gonna use up this little mini skein rainbow. And I have so much left. I think I need to make another shawl. Need to make a 2.0, but without the gray stripes. And I thought about trying to like marl it. So do like straight blue, marl it for a couple of rows with the next blue, then do straight light blue, marl it for a couple of rows with this, and then do this. This is called purple. Anyways, just as like an experiment to see what that would look like. I know that the areas where I marled it, it would be thicker, so that might, but that might also just be an interesting textural thing. So I might try that if I have enough yarn left over, but I thought I would do, yeah, until I run out of gray, and then I think I'll stop. So I might get 1 or 2 of the blues in, and then I'll be done. And I'm pretty excited about that. That's a really fun, fast, easy project, and I really haven't had any time to knit, so it's kind of crazy that I got anything done. I thought about maybe writing a pattern for this. I shouldn't say things on the podcast, because then I'm like, feel the pressure like I need to do it. But it was so fun and easy, but then I'm also like, how in detail do I need to go? Because like, do I just want to do like a quick recipe type thing? Like, do this basic idea and mix it up however you like, or do I go row by row with very specific instructions? Because it's a very simple idea. I would also really like to plug the dyer behind this, because this is such a fun, cool little set. I think it was $20 for the whole set, I think. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But it was, you know, 7 different mini skeins, and like I said, I had enough yarn for these, and then now like 2 little kid shawls, and it would make, for sure, it would make 1 adult size shawl easy. So that was X-Ray Ann on Etsy, and I think she might, no, that might have been somebody else. I was gonna say I think she might be an Oregonian, but I think that was somebody else. I don't recall. Anyways, really love the yarn from her. So yeah, that has been a really fun project, and I think everyone should make cute rainbow shawls because they're adorable. Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what else to say, because I thought I was going to talk for like 5 hours today. Like, I felt like we had so much to cover, but I feel like I'm not remembering everything. Yeah. I'm sure I'll remember things later and it'll drive me nuts. Oh, that's funny. I started ripping the carpet out in my mom's house. She has been gone for about 5 weeks, and for those of you who don't know, we live on my parents' property in a small house, and they live in the big house, and we spend a lot of time in there because we don't have a kitchen in our house or a shower. So anyways, yeah, so I grew up in that house, and we've always had big dogs for my entire life, and a lot of them, and it was just, the carpet was getting to be kind of disgusting. And my mom would totally attest to that. She wouldn't be insulted that I said that. Like, she was frustrated that I was there and just felt like she couldn't deal with ripping it out herself and didn't want to piss off my dad. So she was out of town for about 5 weeks, and she was just getting ready to come home, and it was like she was literally within hours of home, and I was just feeling like, I don't care how much I vacuum or spot clean this carpet, it is going to smell bad, and I don't want her to come home to a stinky, gross house. So I called her and I was like, Mom, do you mind if I rip your carpet out? And she was like, I guess not, like, go for it. So I started just ripping it out and went a little crazy. I got a little bit done the first day, and Daisy was like not having it and not letting me work. So then I finished yesterday, and Nicholas ended up being home, so he helped me a bit, and I mean, he helped me quite a lot. And then we like are ripping the staples out underneath and painting the floor with Kills, and it's like so fresh and clean, and I'm excited about it. I know that's a really random story and it has nothing to do with anything, but I'm excited, and it is also killing my knitting time though, so I apologize. But anyways, yeah, and then this week I'm going to California, so I'm only gonna be gone for a few days, but I'm really nervous because I have never flown with 2 little kids before. I've never flown with either of our girls, so that's a little terrifying. And I won't have Nicholas with me. I will be going with my really good friend who is a flight attendant, so hopefully it goes really well. But I wasn't as nervous about it until I remembered that little kids need car seats, and I have to take them down with me. Like, they are gonna have to get home from the airport down there somehow. So that just hit me all of a sudden, and I was like, oh shoot, that's not gonna be fun. I mean, Felicity's car seat weighs a ton, so I think we're going to borrow a like lighter weight, not as nice car seat to take for her, because I think that the traveling with that really heavy one's gonna be really difficult, but I also worry that it will get damaged in transit. So anyways, yeah, that'll hopefully be fun, but I'm a little nervous about that. So maybe I will be bringing knitting with me. I hope they don't take my needles from me on the plane. That would be sad. But, and hopefully I will have more to show for you guys next week. At the end of this episode, I will be sharing a little video of my gardening. So, yeah, I will post that at the end here, and you guys can take a little tour of my garden. And yeah, if you guys could please like and share, I don't know if you want to share this, but like and comment and subscribe. That's the word I was looking for, subscribe. That would be awesome. I kind of understand if you don't want to after this episode. I was so all over the place and weird. But anyways, it's not always this bad. Go watch some other episodes. And yeah, I just really appreciate your guys' time and all of the support. I've gotten so much love on Instagram and surrounding this giveaway and everything. Everyone has been so kind and awesome. So I really appreciate it. And I would love to hear from you. You guys, if you want to comment and ask me questions, or just, yeah, any feedback is great. And I really appreciate it. So, and you can find me on Ravelry as Dandelion's Dream, and on Instagram as Dandelion Dreams Podcast, and I'm pretty active there, and I think that's a good place to kind of like stay in touch and reach out. So yeah, and oh, and on Facebook I am on there as Dandelion Dreams Knits. So yeah, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, so I thought I would do a quick tour of the garden. You'll have to excuse the mess. There's some clutter and things, but it's starting to come together, and I'm really excited about it. So I am going to show it off. My hubby finally installed a proper gate this year. Last year we had one of these jug boards, which I can explain another time. It's a sheep thing. Anyways, as a gate, and we had to step over it, and it was super obnoxious. So it's pretty fabulous to have a gate. Here we have our first bed, which I just installed last night. Installed. I heaped some dirt up. We have lavender and oregano and sage, and I planted some cilantro. Here we have some baby peppers, and this bed is going to be lettuce. You can't really see the depth on video, but this is a mound right here.
And over here, my awesome tomato beds, which are quite deep beds. And I planted a little bit of carrots in with them because I figured it would be a waste to have all that loose friable soil and not have carrots in there. So that's that. Here we have this jungle is our Swiss chard and our kale from last year, and our beets actually, and it all went to seed. I wish we would have just tilled it under, but Nicholas was like, oh, we should harvest all the seed and plant it everywhere for the sheep to eat. But in hindsight, it probably would have been better just to buy seed because this is a lot of garden space that's just taken up. But alas, whatever. Here's my strawberry patch, which is killing it. We're getting strawberries every day now. This is where Daisy goes when she comes with us. Over there is where Felicity goes. That's her kitchen with all her dishes and her potty chair. And these are my, let's see, what do we have in this bed? We have peas and beans, beans and beans. 2 rows, well, a row of Swiss chard. They just planted all these seeds yesterday. Kale, kale, more kale. Walking onion, which is a perennial. Cabbage, little baby cabbages we started inside this year. This bed's going to be tobacco. We have tobacco starts in the house. And over here we have various squashes. I think we have zucchini and a couple different kinds of cucumbers. And back there we have spaghetti squash, which I didn't want to grow this year, but Felicity picked it out at the nursery and really wanted it, so I was like, ah, whatever. This is actually a perennial vegetable. It's called tree collard, and it can get really large. The sheep actually got in here before that gate was installed and murdered it, but it looks like it's coming back. Over in that area we have grapes, raspberries or loganberries or something somebody gave us. Currants, an apple tree. I think that's all that's there. We're gonna plant some blueberries up there. These are our potatoes. Are gonna be in here. And then I forget what we did. Oh, beets down there. Onions and garlic interplanted here, and carrots up there with a couple teeny tiny celery babies at the end of each of these rows. We'll see if they survive. And this is our last little area. And I think these are just cucumbers. So yeah, it's grown to be quite large this year. Oh, I guess we have one other thing. So this whole little area is kind of obnoxious. This is what the whole garden looked like 2 weeks ago. So Nicholas tilled it, and then I raked all these beds, or shoveled them all into beds and organized it. But this last little row with all these flags, with all the weeds along the side, which I really need to take care of. These are asparagus. Here's one. So every flag has a little asparagus plant next to it, and they're not going to be ready to actually use for a couple years yet. They're pretty tiny still, and they're excuse me, perennial. Yeah, so yeah, there's those things that are going to seed, which is annoying, and then this whole empty wasted space. I don't know where that barrel came from. And right by that flag there is sunchokes, so those need to be transplanted. I think that's part of the reason he decided not to till this area. Also, he's running out of daylight and we had to return the tiller. So yeah, I kind of want to get the perennials all moved to the edges of the garden in case we need to till again, but I'd kind of like to avoid tilling and just maintain these beds and do a lot of heavy mulching. So we have like 5 more bales of straw we're going to bring in here and spread out on everything. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. It was, like I said, the whole garden looked like this, just grass before. So we're slowly getting it domesticated. And we're going to do a lot of perennial things around the edges. Like over in the grass over there, he has some comfrey growing, and then my strawberries are going to continue to spread. I think we'll direct them over towards the baby area and end up moving that thing eventually. And we'll put a bunch more perennial herbs in this bed and some flowers and things. So yeah, I think it'll look really nice later this summer, and I will be sure to give you guys an update.